This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman, and we're broadcasting from Stockholm, Sweden. And after the show today, we'll head to the Swedish Parliament. And on Democracy Now!'s website at democracynow.org, we will live stream the Right Livelihood ceremony from noon Eastern Standard Time to 3 p.m. We hope you go to our website. It's also being live streamed on the website of the Swedish Parliament. That's democracynow.org. As we turn now to Monika Hauser, gynecologist and founder of Medica Mondiale, a German-based non-governmental organization that works to prevent and punish sexual violence against women and girls. They've helped over 70,000 traumatized women and girls in Bosnia and Kosovo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Liberia, Afghanistan. Monika Hauser received the Right Livelihood Award this year, according to the jury, for, quote, her tireless commitment to working with women who've experienced the most horrific sexual violence in some of the most dangerous countries in the world and campaigning for them to receive social recognition and compensation. She joins me here in the studio in Sweden. Welcome to Democracy Now!
Thank you, Amy.
So congratulations, and tell us about your organization. What is Medica Mondiale? What prompted you to start this?
I founded Medica Mondiale in the end of '92 because I realized what happened in Bosnia, because in the war there many women got raped. And as a young gynecologist who has worked already with raped women before in Germany and other places in Europe, I was aware about that these women need a holistic approach of support. They need medical support, they need psychosocial support. When I read the media reports, I got very angry. Angry about that, what happened to the women, and angry about that, how the media has reported about the women. They scandalized that what happened to them, and instead of looking to them as survivors of grave human rights violations, they misused them again by their media reports. So I said to myself, I have to support these women as a gynecologist, as a feminist, and as a European. I went there to central Bosnia, and I found very fast 20 professional Bosnian women, gynecologists, nurses, psychologists, who were very eager to start with me this women's therapy center there.
And how did you go from that to working in countries around the world?
So this was the first step, and now Medica Zenica is 15 years old. The project there is still working and still helping traumatized women. And the staff there is very experienced. And when we started new programs in Kosovo, because we saw after the end of the war there in '99 that to Kosovo women the same happened again. Rape as a tool of war was happening, and they were exposed to so much violence. So we decided to set up there our second project. And Bosnian therapists, Bosnian professionals supported us to build up this new project. They trained their new colleagues. And the same with Afghanistan. This is our main project since 2002. We have there now in the meantime over 70 local female staff members. And we had again the Bosnian therapists with their huge experience coming over to Kabul to train doctors, midwives, nurses, psychologists, lawyers in order to help traumatized Afghan women.
I'm so sorry Asha Haji is not also here, also the Right Livelihood Award winner from Somalia. But the issue of women being involved in negotiations in the peace process that we see so rarely around the world.
Yes, this is a big problem since we started this work. Women have to be included in peace talks, because if they are not, their reality will not exist in these peace talks. And Asha Hagi made a wonderful model for all of us. She, when in 2001 we had the peace negotiations in Somalia, a Scandinavian organization supported that also women could take place there. And the male head of the talks asked or let's say demanded from the Somali women who could take place there to divide themselves in the ethnic clans which were performing these talks. And they said no. They refused. They just formed their own sixth clan. And I think this is so important, an important message to Bosnia.
Explain sixth clan.
The sixth clan means that we had women from all 5 ethnic clans who just said, we don't want to divide and to separate in our male ethnical clans. We just stay together. And the women together formed this sixth clan. And it means that women have other ideas for forming peace. And we could see this also in Kosovo, where Serbian and Kosovo Albanian women spoke together. They had other ideas than the black and white recommendations of the Kosovo male politicians. But of course, they were not included in the peace talks in Vienna. And the delegation of these Serbian and Kosovo Albanian women came to the UN Special Envoy for the peace talks in Kosovo, Mr. Ahtisaari, and asked him why...
Who is winning the Nobel Peace Prize on Wednesday.
And asked him why do you not involve us in these important peace talks? And he answered, I did not want to disturb your culture. But this is the culture of the men, they answered. This is not our culture. And so we have to see that these women, like Asha Hagi or the Kosovo and Serbian women, they have competencies which are really important and necessary for building up new democracies, new countries. And therefore, I think it's very important that international politics, as the Peace Nobel Prize winner of this year's, that they really think about to include the female part of the population in their talks.
On December 9th, that's tomorrow, Tuesday, it's the anniversary of the day to celebrate human rights defenders.
Yeah, it's a very sad chapter because we have now the 9th anniversary of this Human Rights Defenders Convention, and we only can say that we see that activists all over the world are not protected. They do a very brave work. In fact, I can say they do it for us also. And looking, for example, to my Congolese colleague Immaculée Biraheka, who does very brave work every day in Goma, where just war started again. And they try to free the women from the camps. They go just to the military camps to bring women out, and these women were they're imprisoned for days and weeks and months and got raped each day. And when international politicians and MONUC soldiers tell me this is not possible, we have no chance, then I tell them, why does our brave Congolese colleague have the chance to take the women out? Why can't you do that?
What does it mean to go into a camp to get a woman who's being raped? Describe a scene.
Just recently, the grandfather of a 40-year-old woman came to the organization PAIF, our partner in Goma, to Immaculée and told her that this woman was abducted by governmental soldiers in Goma. And he told her that he knew where she was brought to. And Immaculée tried to call all international responsible persons. She tried to call the local police. Nobody wanted to help her. So she took one of her colleagues and went to this camp and knocked at the door and asked for the colonel to speak with him. And of course he came, and she said, I know about that this woman is in your camp, and I can imagine what happens to her here. You have to bring her out. I have to care for her. And of course, first he refused her, but then she just insisted. And she stayed brave. Nevertheless, she could be herself in danger. And she reached to have the possibility to come in. She found her, and they brought her to hospital. And this woman was raped the whole night.
Mm. What do you think has to be done now? What can be done to protect women and girls?
We have wonderful resolutions. We have the UN Resolution 1325 for women, peace and security. We have now recently, from this June, the UN Resolution 8020, which clearly condemns war rapes as a war crime and gives us preventive measures to protect women.
How?
But these measures are not implemented because the international politicians are just not interested. If the perpetrators are catched and brought to justice, impunity would finally end, and this would give a clear message to the other perpetrators that they have to fear justice. But as long as MONUC or other UN missions are not catching these perpetrators, the message is clear: you can do whatever you want. And therefore, we really have to bring to practice these resolutions and to force our politicians. And this is a huge task what we do with, of course, especially the European politicians, to tell them each time if you call with the government in Kinshasa, you have to take this topic of rape as priority topic number one. And of course, they also have to support at these peace talks now, for example, in Nairobi, that women have to be there in order to represent their own reality.